Okay, if you are in Math 8, we are working from the Course 3 textbook. If you are 7 Excel, you're working in the Advanced 2 textbook. We are working on lesson 11.1, examples 1 through 3, pages 466 to 467. Okay, when you were in kindergarten, you learned about these alligators that like to munch the largest number. So remember, there were the alligators, and they always liked to munch the largest number. So we learned that when the alligator points this direction, it's greater than. And when the alligator points in that direction, it's less than. And then as you got older, you realized that sometimes there was a greater than or equal to. We got away from the alligators. And we learned greater than or equal to. And then we learned less than or equal to. In 6th grade, we learned how to graph inequalities. And we learned that an open circle means that that's where the solution starts, but it does not include that number. And for less than, we used an open circle, and it means that's where the solution starts, but it did not include that number. Greater than or equal to, we used a closed circle, which meant this is where the solution started and that number was included in the solution set. Same thing for the less than or equal to. The closed circle meant that's where the solution started and the number was included in the solution. So when we're working with inequalities, the first thing we need to do is turn the word sentence into a number sentence. So they'll give us something like this. A number x plus 5 is greater than or equal to negative 7.9. So they're going to give us a word sentence like this. A number x plus 5 is greater than or equal to negative 7.9. And we have to turn this word sentence into a number sentence. So to do that, we're going to kind of have to pull it apart. A number x plus 5. Well, that's easy. A number x plus 5. I can do that. Is greater than or equal to. Is greater than or equal to. Oh, greater than or equal to. Negative 7.9. Negative 7 9/10. There we go. So we have to take the word sentence and turn it into a number sentence before we can work with it. So let's do another one. Twice a number y is more than negative 5/2. So we're going to break this whole thing down again. We need to turn the word sentence into a number sentence. So twice a number y means 2 times y is more than. Is more than. It doesn't say equal to. It says is more than. So is more than is greater than right here. -5/2. Okay. So when we're working with inequalities, the first thing we need to do is turn the word sentence into a number sentence. Then we're going to take this number sentence, and solve it just like we did with equations. We're going to use the same rules and solve this just like we would equations. Okay? So we turned the words into a number sentence. Now we need to solve this number sentence and graph it. So I need to isolate my variable. To isolate my variable, I need to get rid of this +5. So I need to undo it. I'm going to use inverse operations and subtract 5 from what I do to one side. I must do to the other. So now these guys cancel and I'm left with x is greater than or equal to -12.9. So I use the same rules for equations to solve this inequality. Now I have to graph this inequality. When we graph an inequality, we have to start with a number line. We put an arrow on each side that says the number line goes on forever in both directions. We're going to take our target, this is the target, and put it in the middle. Then I like to go 2 tick marks to the right and 2 tick marks to the left. And yes, you have to label them. So now we drew our number line. We put our target in the middle, 2 tick marks to the right, 2 tick marks to the left. We labeled them. Now what I need to do is look at my sign right here. It is greater than or equal to. So that means -12 9/10 is, it's not just where my solution starts, but it is part of the solution because it's equal to. So I'm going to use a closed circle. And now x is greater than or equal to. So the closed circle means equal to, and x is everything greater than. Greater than means everything to the right. Greater than has an R in it, so it means everything to the right. So this means -12.9 is included in the solution, and everything to the right is also a solution for this inequality. So there's not just one solution, there's all of these are solutions, including -12.9. So let's graph another one. Let's graph another one. We don't necessarily have to solve it, but let's graph one. So graph. We want to graph S is less than or equal to 1 4/10. So the first thing I'm going to do is draw my number line. And I put my target in the middle. I'm going to go 2 ticks to the right and 2 ticks to the left. And yes, you need to label them. Now I'm going to look at my sign. My sign is less than or equal to. So that means 1.4 is part of the solution. So it's going to be a closed circle because 1.4 is part of the solution. So it's a closed circle. Now it's telling me S is less than. So less than means I want everything to the left. So that means 1 4/10 is part of the solution because it's a closed circle. And everything to the left is also a solution for this inequality. So we need to turn the word sentence into a number sentence. Then we need to solve that number sentence and graph it. When we're graphing, we put our target in the middle. We take a look at our sign. Is it going to be a closed circle or an open circle? If the equal sign is there, it's closed because that means that this number is part of the solution. Then we need to take a look at our variable. Is it less than or greater than? If the variable is less than, it's everything to the left. If the variable is greater than, it's everything to the right. Now, sometimes they'll ask us something like this. Is -2 a solution? Is -2 a solution? And they'll give you an inequality. So this is kind of like equations. We're going to take -2 and substitute it in. Okay. We're substituting. So now I have a -2 and a -5. Remember, negative ninjas and negative ninjas like to combine forces. So that will be -7. And everything else comes down. Now, when I look at this, -7 is greater than or equal to -6. Wait, what? -7 is not greater than or equal to -6. I can prove it. It goes -4, -5, -6, -7 is to the left of -6. That means -7 is less than -6. -7 is less than -6. That means this is a false statement. Therefore, -2 is not a solution. So just like with equations, when they gave you a false statement, then this is not a solution. Okay, So what does a solution look like? Well, let's try another one. Negative 5 5/10 times y is less than 14. So my first step is to substitute negative 5 5/10 times negative 2 is less than 14. Now, can you use a calculator here? Yes, please do. Negative 5.5 times negative 2 is positive 11. And everything else comes down. Oh, would you look at that? 11 is less than 14. 11, 12, 13, 14. 11 is to the left of 14. Therefore, it is less than 14. That means this is a true statement. Therefore, negative 2 is a solution. So if it is a solution, it would fall within the highlighted area of your graph. So if it is a solution, it falls within the highlighted area of your graph. If it is not a solution, it is not in the highlighted area of your graph. So when we're looking at graphs, everything that's highlighted is a solution. Everything that is not highlighted is not a solution. And that's what's happening here. Negative 2 is not a solution. Therefore, it would not fall in the highlighted part of the graph. Here, negative 2 is a solution. Therefore, it would fall in the highlighted part of the graph. Okay.